Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is Smackdown Live. We are here just after Backlash. I mean, just after. It's been like almost a week, but we'll ignore that for continuity purposes. We are here anyway, and yep, you've seen by the thumbnail, you know that there is a change around here, and you can already tell what that big change is. We have a new WWE champion, the now 5-time World Champion CM Punk will open tonight's episode of Smackdown Live discussing his victory at Backlash, discussing beating the Beast in Brock Lesnar and making the WWE Champion Bobby Fish submit to him to win that title. It is something incredible to think about. What a moment in time it was for CM Punk. And he will be sharing it all later on tonight. Sorry, not later on, to start things off here tonight. But you want to talk about later on tonight? We'll talk about the main event, and what a main event that is looking like. The Intercontinental Champion Kenny Omega goes one-on-one against the man who made his return to Smackdown Live at Backlash. It is going to be Kenny Omega against Finn Balor. That one's going to be one hell of a contest. May even decide what Finn Balor is going to be getting up to when the Royal Rumble rolls around just a few weeks from now. But this one going to be another good night of Smackdown Live action, and I know we're all waiting for it. We all want to see him, so let's get to it. The new WWE Champion. And here he comes. Might be Son WWE Championship for tonight, but the effect still remains the same. CM Punk is our WWE Champion, and he is celebrating that fact right here to kick things off in Cleveland. It was a huge brawl, essentially, a fight, if you will, at Backlash, and CM Punk walked out on top there, winning his 5th world title, and that is immediately what Punk wants to talk about. If there was ever a way that he could have started 2018 off even better, well, he'd like to know how, because CM Punk, in his eyes, has already made his year the best it can be by bringing home another title to his arsenal. But CM Punk, this isn't about him. This shouldn't be about him. This shouldn't be about winning his 5th WWE Championship, because if it wasn't for these people, he wouldn't have won any of them. In CM Punk's mind, we as a collective have done it, and in CM Punk's mind, we have brought SmackDown back. And while he says that Bobby Fish will have something else to say about it, he'd like to see him try and convince anyone else that it is not the case. For too long, the Dangerous Alliance were trying to run roughshod over SmackDown Live, and CM Punk has brought that to an end at Backlash. And CM Punk finishing things off with a kind of a bit of a threat towards Fish in some ways. Fish, he knows you're here somewhere. If you want a shot, if you want a rematch, CM Punk, week in and week out, will be here with the people who won him this title. He never has to try and hide away from CM Punk, because he's always right in the heart of SmackDown Live. Punk getting this crowd up on its feet to start things off on SmackDown Live. The new WWE Champion might not be in action here tonight, but he has made sure he has shown where he stands on this roster. Well, we are ready to kick off the action now on SmackDown Live, and it will be all action all the way throughout the rest of this show. After hearing from the WWE Champion, he may well be in action next week, but tonight we're going to focus on the talents of SmackDown Live. And I'm not trying to say that CM Punk ain't the talent, but it is a night to just showcase the talent. Basically, it has been a long road to Backlash. It was a strenuous one at that. And now, here tonight, we are just going to have some matches, essentially. It could be a great main event as well. And we're kicking things off with a great opener as well, as SmackDown Live usually likes to do. Kicking things off, Cesaro and Sami Zayn, a match that is certainly going to appease to the more hardcore fans. Cesaro, who has been kind of in a tough situation, I think is the nicest way of saying it, since being on SmackDown Live. He hasn't really stood out, he hasn't shone. And he will be hoping that at the start of the new year, Cesaro can kick something off that means he can go somewhere. As for right now, though, he has got a tough opponent in Sami Zayn, another man who's had a bit of trouble standing out. He's had his title opportunities, he's had those chances to show that he can go for it. But at WrestleMania, this past WrestleMania, he couldn't captured the Intercontinental Championship, and at the Great American Bash in July, he couldn't capture the WWE Championship. It has been a tough time for both men, but they would both, of course, like to have the fruits of victory here tonight on the path to the Royal Rumble as well, of course. And that is one of the main things to take away from it all. We are on our way now towards the Royal Rumble, some 4 weeks away from it. And of course, 30 men involved, the winner getting a ticket to WrestleMania, and I'm sure everyone in that match would like to be, and like to tell the tale, much as Tyler Breeze did last year. Going all the way to WrestleMania, main eventing the grandest stage of them all, and winning the title. All depends, of course, on who's going. We know, all we currently know right now is those I have revealed on ECW, the 3 so far, so we know what, 10% of the Royal Rumble. We know Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, and Sami Callihan will be going to the Rumble. We don't know any from Raw yet, however. It has been stated that this upcoming Monday on Raw, we will be revealing the first 4 of their choices. But Smackdown has not said anything yet. They're keeping it fairly secret, which I think is very interesting to say the least. But we're gonna get things underway here right away between Cesaro and Sami Zayn. That collar elbow type did not last long at all. Cesaro powering there with a Michinoku driver onto Zayn into an early cover there. And it's weird to think that someone, you know, with the talent of Sami Zayn, wherever we go, people love and adore Sami Zayn. But to see him not see him on a pay-per-view is a bit odd, and that was the case with of course, Backlash this past weekend. To not see him there was a very interesting situation, I guess you could say. It just felt wrong in a way. I mean, I know they had 6 matches as opposed to the usual 7. The Backlash was such a stacked card heading into it that it was kind of tough to get that 7th card in there. And if it could have been like a special opportunity battle royal, like we did at Guilty as Charged, like Raw did at Armageddon, we could well have seen someone like Sami Zayn or Cesaro win it and get themselves a title opportunity on the way to the Royal Rumble. But that was not the case. Instead, they're going to have to fight for their opportunities to get into the Royal Rumble, to challenge for a title, who knows what. They're going to have to prove all of that, and that is what they're trying to get underway here tonight. Sami Zayn did a great job there, stuck under that uppercut and hit the Northern Lights suplex. Let's see what Zayn will bring to the table in this one, and what Cesaro could do to counteract it. Went for a great looking drop kick there, did the big man, but countered, and a downward spiral there by Zayn brings Cesaro into the mat. I think this is going to be a very back and forth matchup. They're going to keep it very respectable though, and you know, show each other that they will work within the rules, as they should, to be fair. But Cesaro with the snake eyes there, and once again looking to demonstrate his strength with a devastating German suplex. Cesaro not going to be the only power man we see here tonight, but pound for pound may well be the toughest man we see here tonight. Off the ropes now might go Cesaro with the spinning European uppercut. An old favourite of his, one that used to lead into the neutralizer or even the devastating Swiss death uppercut back in the day. But of course, Cesaro has gone quite a way since his dominating ECW Championship reign. Like I said, when he came out, has struggled to make an impact since arriving to Smackdown Live. Zayn now, look at this, up on the shoulder. Oh, great. They looked like he was maybe taking some kind of power slam, maybe a Michinoku driver, faked out, and did a snake eyes there, gun stun rather, on the ropes. Kick in the gut now by Zayn as he looks to try and take control in this one here. Cesaro had his fair share of offense. Now Zayn believes it could be his time. Here goes Zayn. In position, oh, flies up to the top rope, went for the crossbody, and caught and dumped down there as well by Cesaro. Very interesting to say the least, but look at this now, Cesaro looking to return the favour. Look at the strength, what a buckle bomb by Cesaro. Oh my goodness. And Sami Zayn gets no room to breathe now, as here comes the strength of the Swiss Superman. One, rolls through into another one. 2, and the third and final one on its way. And 3 deadlift gut-wrench suplexes for Sami Zayn to endure as this match continues on here now. Absolute thing of beauty by Cesaro to witness. Sami Zayn definitely going to need to do something big here if he wants to make this match a win for him. Amping himself up there, you saw. And the crowd siding with him as well. Look at this. Heading into with some speed. And oh, what a DDT. Spiking Cesaro on the top of his head. Zayn feeling the offense here. Feeling the crowd on his side. And here he goes. Double clothesline. Ducks under. Pop-up drop kick. Zayn's getting into it. Zayn's feeling it now. And the crowd here in Columbus is only willing him on even further. Cesaro slow to recover now as Zayn gets up to his feet here. Zayn might have been thinking Blue Thunderbomb, and oh, Cesaro thinking a little bit desperate. Cesaro now looking and will lock in the sharpshooter here on Sami Zayn. Looking for that submission victory, and very quickly Zayn is out of it. Zayn was not going to fall for that one. And look at this here, into like a kind of a suplex cradle bomb, I guess you could say, that has floored Cesaro right there. Well, Zayn may well have been derailed from... Oh my god, Cesaro there, what a kip up to his feet. But Zayn having absolutely none of it. Trying to slow his pace back down here. Stitching in a chin lock now to really drag away Cesaro's momentum, much as he had done to Zayn. Cesaro turns up to his feet here, but you got to imagine he's kind of... I guess the easiest way of putting it is a bit buzzed out. May well have lost all the thrill that he had, but oh, what a big time Irish whip there. Zayn came stumbling out of that turnbuckle into a snap suplex. Cesaro now into a cover. There's two, and Zayn powers out. Like I said, I was expecting it to be a very back and forth matchup, and indeed it has been between these two men. Great counter there by Zayn. What can he look for now? He's going to bring him into the turnbuckle here. Cesaro could be in trouble. Something big could be on the mind of Sami Zayn. And here it is. An exploder suplex into the turnbuckle. Cesaro basically curling up inside himself, basically, but counters out of it and floors Zayn with a big-time drop kick. Nicely done there as Cesaro, too, looks for that victory over Zayn. In the turnbuckle now, he sends Sami Zayn, and look at these hard strikes here in the head. And another uppercut for him to endure. They do not get any easier. Especially when you've got a man like Cesaro striking them into you as well. Brings him back there with a shoulder tackle. Sends him down. This is very expert work here by Cesaro. He is just kind of teasing Zayn, throwing him into the corner every single time. Zayn pulls out the counter there, brings him into the corner, and hello the kick! Look at how quickly he struck that one. Didn't even think about running into the turnbuckle. However, the lack of momentum may pay dividends in why he may not pick up the win here. Into the cover on Cesaro. His arm isn't under the rope, and Cesaro will kick out at two. See, I think that just goes to show how the run-up is crucial. All the momentum you kind of miss out on. You can put that much more force into it when you raise your boot up. Otherwise, it just kind of is like a standing big boot, really. With Cesaro, though, busted open. Zayn is going 100% here on the path to victory. Brainbuster by Zayn. But he shows the way of this matchup, much the same as Cesaro is showing physically. Zayn, German suplex. Cesaro had to think on his feet there to get out of that one, and indeed he did. Another hard uppercut there. And here it comes again. Another one for Zayn. His jaw, one thing is for certain, is going to be ringing after this matchup. And I think Zayn, oh my god, I wouldn't have expected it in a match like this one. But both men are busted open, and Zayn has been tagged hard there. Much worse than Cesaro, I would say. Michinoku driver by Zayn. Up to the second rope now goes Zayn. Will he look for this crossbody again? Cesaro caught him perfectly the first time. Will Zayn nail it this time? Yes, he will. Into a cover for the victory on Cesaro. Can't even get a 2 count. Well, this has been a high-octane way to kick things off here on Smackdown Live tonight, that's for certain. Big-time drop kick into the back there. And look at how Zayn will not let go. Stays on him repeatedly. And in the turnbuckle he goes again. Another exploder suplex into it. Now Zayn needs to pick him up, send him into the turnbuckle, and nail that helluva kick on the money to get his 2018 kicked off just the way he wants it to. Cesaro in the turnbuckle. Zayn now, helluva kick! Looks like he had not really much, but a little bit of a run up, I guess you could say. Zayn hooks the leg, but with all the blood dripping down Cesaro's head, can he bring himself to kick out? He cannot. And Sami Zayn will kick off the first SmackDown Live of the year with a victory. And that is what he wanted. Like I said, both men were looking for the fruits of victory, and Sami Zayn got it here tonight. Just the win he was looking for. Where does he go from here? Well, time will only tell, but I think if Zayn went in the Royal Rumble, he would certainly give it socks to try and go to WrestleMania. Doesn't matter if he was number 2 or number 28, just random numbers being thrown out there. Sami Zayn would absolutely give it his all to win the Royal Rumble and to main event WrestleMania. Maybe we'll see Cesaro there as well. Right now, I cannot tell. SmackDown is keeping their list of talents in there well hidden from the rest of us. Well, there we go. That was how you kick things off with a great match between those two men. We're going to move on here to the next contest now. Tag team matchup, Future Shock against the Revival. Well, let's get this one underway. There might not be too much implications on the line given the whole tag team division right now. If you saw Backlash, you know what I'm on about. But this is still a win that can, it can go some ways in the whole scheme of things, and it can mean a lot to one team over the other. Especially when the two teams in this action, Future Shock in this case, have a strong chance of getting a great 2018 ahead of them, and the team of the Revival, former tag team champions, and they have a shot as well of getting those titles back at some point. Right now, that tag team situation well occupied by War Machine, and we're going to be seeing a member of War Machine in action later on tonight, taking on a member of the Elite, which should be very interesting indeed, given what we saw happen at Backlash, but we'll focus on that when we get there. As for right now, Future Shock, who have been doing better since Kevin Owens left them than they were when Kevin Owens was with them, are going to take on the Revival here, who were doing better when Kevin Owens was with Future Shock than what he was when he wasn't with them. So speaking of Kevin Owens, he had a great time at Backlash, beating Shinsuke Nakamura. I wonder where he goes from here now. That has got to mean big things for KO when he picks up a win like that, and surely something's got to be recognized from it, and something has got to happen as a result of it. But we don't know right now. Nakamura nor Owens here tonight, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now, here come the Revival for tag team action. I don't remember the last time we saw the Revival. I think they lost to War Machine maybe, or MK Ultra. One of the two teams anyway, the last time we saw them. And yeah, since losing those tag team titles back at SummerSlam, it has been dismal for the Revival. It wasn't as even if they went from like slowly sunk down. They were at the highest high, and all of a sudden they are feeling like they're on the lowest low. But the Revival looking for a big win here tonight. This SmackDown tag team division is stacked with talent, and I would argue perhaps even the best tag team division there is in general. But it just needs something. It just needs a kickstart, really, for teams like the Revival, the Ascension, teams we know to be great, but just cannot get out of the starting gate right now. Well, maybe this could be the Revival's ticket to get out of the starting gate. I know these two teams have squared off in the past, and I know it's kind of polar opposites, no flips, just fists from the Revival, and Ricochet especially well known for his array of flips. Or aerial maneuvers, shall we say, to make it sound less insulting. Great counter there by Ricochet, kicking the leg there, kicking his leg out of his leg, essentially. And the agility of Ricochet is getting him off to a good start here over Scott Dawson. Oh, and here comes the strength factor now. Something that a Revival should be known for. Deadlift German suplex by Ricochet. Great stuff there. As Future Shock get off to a strong start, but that is Scott Dawson trying to turn things around and not really getting the best of luck from it. Into the turnbuckle now. goes Ricochet, and it doesn't seem to be a great start so far for the Revival, but again, the first match in, and the first tag move in, rather, and this is smart. Go after the leg of Ricochet. Take away his ability to stand up on his own 2 feet, his ability to run, his ability to take flight. That is very smart indeed by Dawson and Wilder, and here goes Dash Wilder now, picking up where they left off on that tag team maneuver there by targeting the leg once more. Oh my goodness, a high-angled suplex neck breaker there, incredible. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get any kind of job done on Ricochet there. Kota Ibushi trying to crawl him over for the tag here, and well, he is crawling, but not the direction he wants to. And you saw there, Wilder stomping into the legs of Ricochet. He is thinking very tactically here, completely targeting the legs. But Ricochet is able to power his way out there. Counter there with the Fireman's carry, and now we'll see what he has in mind. Big spin kick in the gut there, off the ropes, he comes and all. Sliding drop kick there, very nicely executed. And take a look at this now by Ricochet. Northern Light suplex floating through into a brainbuster, a Bobby Fish special, and a move that I would argue he helped to make famous. Great bit of, oh my god, great bit of work by Ricochet, but he had hard on that powerbomb. Ibushi now going to get the tag in here, and both men kind of with a stalemate in mid-air. Bats the forearm away, and here goes Ibushi now. Single leg drop kicks. There's 2 for you, and there's a 3rd for good measure. Now, Wilder looking for the tag into Dawson, and Ricochet trying to make sure he knows what it feels like to not be able to get the tag in. Look at that Phoenix splash there by Ibushi. And into the cover a little bit late, to be fair. There's the count, and there's Dawson in to make the save. Ricochet came flying out of nowhere and hits a big-time German suplex there. Ibushi now in position, looking like he wants to win this one. Boot caught. And Wilder all of a sudden is in very lonely territory, though. He's on his own. And he's going to have to do an awful lot if he wants to win this one. As Dawson recovers on the outside, what can Dash Wilder do here? Oh, this is what he's going to do. He's going to go after the leg, much the same as he was doing with Ricochet, and it's so smart of Dash Wilder to think through something like that. Your strength and their weakness as well, kind of going hand in hand with one another. Great bit of work into that Russian leg sweep there, as Dash Wilder, despite being on his own, has done a great job here of keeping him down. And look at this incredible bit of torque here being applied to the knee and the leg as a whole, wearing him down and taking kind of all the fight that he can think about out of his leg. Ibushi, though, with a quick counter, shows you're going to need an awful lot more than that to put him down for good, and a drop kick to the outside will leave Wilder in a precarious place right now. Ibushi calling him to his feet here. This is going to be big. Oh, it's not. It's a double axe handle. Okay. Ibushi kind of pulling our leg there a little bit, and had us thinking it was going to be something when it was completely the opposite. And Wilder looking to try and make the tag out here. He really needed to. And here we go now. In comes. Oh, into the ropes there. And now Scott Dawson with a back suplex there. Interesting tag team move by the Revival. Don't think I've seen that one before. As Scott Dawson now becomes the legal man. And the work on the leg continues. Look at this inverted figure 4 here. Targeting both legs at once, especially the leg that is wrapped around Scott Dawson's. As Dash Wilder recovers on the outside here. Have to wonder what the Revival can do to try and win this one. They may well be in the driver's seat right now, but the heart and determination of Future Shock is certainly something that is difficult to overcome. Hurricanrana here. And Ibushi could well be finding new life in this matchup. Ibushi looking for his big-time powerbomb. Nope, he's just holding him up in the air. And he's going to dump him down there, face first. And Scott Dawson almost looking out of it as he slowly slumps into the turnbuckle there, and a big drop kick in the chest for good measure. Well, Ibushi's done his part, but it looks as if on the outside there, Ricochet, as he applauds him, wants back in this one. Will he, though? Or is Ricochet going to have to sit and watch here? Oh, maybe not. Clothesline there. And the only thing he may be watching is a beatdown courtesy of the Revival. As Scott Dawson now tries to retake control, but Ibushi denies it here. Great back and forth action in this one thus far. Northern Light suplex, impeccable bridge into the cover, but not going to be. A kick out denies Ibushi his chance of winning the match here for his tag team. In the turnbuckle now goes Ibushi, but a big time elbow will make sure that he doesn't stay there that long. Up now, and a twisting Falcon Arrow there. And it looks as if Dawson was trying to crawl there towards Wilder. He wasn't going to get it. And here we go now in the turnbuckle, tag made. What will Future Shock look for here? We've seen the move made famous by Red Dragon. The roundhouse kick, the brainbuster. And that one could end it here. Slowly, in comes Wilder, but it's not enough. He can't make the save, and Future Shock are your winners. And fair play, credit where credit's due. Ibushi stood tall in that one, the real driving force of the team. But it is a great win here tonight for Future Shock, and one that could careen them to be the next in line to challenge the WWE Tag Team Champions after War Machine and the Young Bucks are through tearing at each other's throats. The Revival looked as if they wanted to try something there, but Future Shock just headed in with too much momentum, too much heart, too much drive really. And there was nothing that they could do. Well, there we go, victory for Future Shock, and good on them for getting it. Just the way they needed to kick off their year. Good stuff, but we're going to move on to our next contest now. We saw a Backlash, an absolute war for the Women's Championship. Nikki Cross came out on top and remains your SmackDown Live Women's Champion. But the big question now surrounding that division is who is next? Well, we're going to find out as we get a little bit closer. Becky Lynch taking on Bayley. Alright, well here we go. Bayley and Becky Lynch. This should be a good contest between these two women. They both are incredibly talented in their own rights, and in Bayley's perspective, one of the most talented women, I would argue, around, who hasn't held the Women's Championship yet, though that could be said for a lot right now since this division was rebirthed. There are so many talented women in this division who just have not been given that title opportunity because there are so many just talented women in their own right, and those who have got the belt so far have been dominant. You look in general, we'll follow this one because it kind of goes from as far as Becky Lynch when she won the title. Then it's Winter, and that has been it for this title. And of course now Nikki Cross. But there are so many talented women, it just makes it that more difficult when they to get one, the title shot, and two, to then win the title. We've seen so many fall short to Winter, but the disaster, not really the disastrous, but the dominant, the destructive reign that Winter had over SmackDown Live has come to an end now. In a Backlash, Nikki Cross proved that it had come to an end, that it was over, that it stood no chance of coming back. She put her away for good, I would argue, by beating her at her own game. No DQ, and she was still able to walk out the winner at the end of it all. And that just goes to show you how great Nikki Cross really is, and why she was a two-time NXT Women's Champion, and now is heading the SmackDown Live Women's Division. But Becky Lynch and Bayley here, both looking to be the woman who can be next in line for that title shot and get their hands next on Nikki Cross. And I think both these women would give her a very tough match. Like I said, Becky Lynch, one of the only women, she wasn't the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, she was the WWE Women's Champion across both brands before they decided to separate the belts up. And well, now we have made it this far, and Becky Lynch is going to get her hands back on that title once again. She tried it throughout a lot of 2017, to be fair. She tried it at WrestleMania. She had that match at Battleground, which ended under very questionable circumstances, but in the rematch she showed that she couldn't beat Winter. But now with Winter out of the question and Nikki Cross in the scenario, could it be a good time for Becky Lynch to recapture that title? However, could it also be a time to put a focus on a fresh champion maybe? Could Bayley and her huggers be on her way to the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. That is something that we could answer here tonight between these two very talented athletes. But you look at SmackDown's division and they have some great talents just hiding there as well. The likes of AJ Lee, Sasha Banks, and even the dominant woman that she is in Nia Jax. All can just stake their claim and go after that championship whenever they decide. Right now, Becky Lynch was off to the best start there, but Bayley hit hard there to send it to the outside, and now here we go. Interesting to see this match on outside. I was going to get very Sami, Zayn and Cesaro vibes. You know, both women going to play fair to the rules and not really use this. I mean, Zayn and Cesaro, they didn't go to the outside throughout the entire match. They are certainly using the outside to their advantage in this one, though. And by they, I'm more saying Bayley than anything else, as Bayley has ultimately used the outside to her advantage here. Count up to as far as 6 now as these two women continue to fight. Lynch, though, coming back in the ring here, though via the top rope. Look out below! Bayley saw that one incoming and moved out of the way. She has Becky Lynch's number right now in this matchup, though maybe not for much longer. Not too sure what Bayley was looking for there, but she ate hard into the mat. And Becky Lynch now can all of a sudden retake control as a result of it. Bringing Bayley up to her feet here, and here we go now, going after the arm. Looking to soften it up ahead of the disarmer. That is Becky Lynch's aim and game here, to walk out of this here tonight as your winner, and perhaps the favourite to go after Nikki Cross next for that title. Lovely double leg drop there by Becky Lynch as she continues here. She's got to try and, of course, soften up Bayley in her own right, but she's got to work on that arm as well. It's key that she does that. Otherwise, the disarmer will be locked in and it'll be just like a kind of an arm bar, essentially. It won't be the devastating move that Becky Lynch has made it. But Bayley can afford to use her entire offense to her advantage here, because, of course, the Bayley to belly, well, it is something that Bayley can essentially work on throughout the entire match, and it is a powerful enough move to perhaps put her opponent away. But here comes an exploder Bexplex there, sending Bayley careening across the ring. But she's only down for so long. Up to her feet here, and a German suplex there. Good God, these two women are once again, as we have seen throughout quite a bit of tonight here, going back and forth with the offense. In the turnbuckle now, shoulder tackle by Bayley. Rolls out, and here we go. Gonna come in again here for a big time move. No! Becky Lynch moved out of the way, and Lynch hit her arm in the turnbuckle. Very smart by Becky Lynch. She knew just what to do there, and you gotta commend her for it as she hones in on the arm right now. Stopped Bayley's momentum right as it was at its peak, and she tried again there, I think. And Becky Lynch did her best to completely deny it. And once again, these two women just going back and forth right now, trading how long, trading who takes control in this matchup, essentially. Becky Lynch has done a great job of working on the arm in this matchup thus far, and here comes a Bexplex for her reward. Absolutely incredible how she's able to connect with that. In the turnbuckle now, she sends Bayley, and what does she have in mind here? Going after that arm again. Maybe the move that we saw at the start goes up to that top rope, and here we go. Takes flight and down there. Slamming the arm into her body. And most notably how high she was up, and the snap factor of it coming back down. That could certainly do a lot of talk, but Becky Lynch a bit worn out there and left Bayley one hell of an opening to capitalize on. What was going through the mind of Becky Lynch there? I don't know why she left such a gap there, but Bayley more than happy to capitalize on it. Counter though by Becky Lynch, and here comes another Bexplex for us. Bayley goes flying across the ring here, and Becky may have decided that it's time here to close this one out. Are we going to see the disarmer? Into the suplex, rolls through, and now near the middle. Not so near the middle of the ring. Bayley actually quite close to the ropes here, but the disarmer is stitched in. Will Bayley be forced to submit after all the work on the arm? Yes, she will. The referee calls for the bell, and Becky Lynch worked methodically in that one. Didn't let her mind get the better of her. She knew just what to do there, and it paid off as she has defeated Bayley in this one. Lynch could be on her way to the SmackDown Live Women's Championship next, but that'll maintain to be seen. A handshake, though, between these two women as they share respect. Bayley raises the arm of the winner, and that match could have been Bayley's. I would argue if she had nailed that comeback of hers, if she had managed to run into that corner and drive that shoulder, we may have been looking at the end. Becky Lynch knew what she was doing, and kind of the champion's mindset was what led her to that victory here tonight. Good win for Becky Lynch. Bayley, back to the drawing board for her, I guess. But coming up next now, continuing on from Backlash, we are going to see Hanson go one-on-one against a member of the Young Bucks. I am going to deploy a bit of a elite fan bias in a moment, but as for right now, here come War Machine, and the man on the left there is the one who's going to be in action here. Hanson, who is not in the best of moods after what happened at Backlash. You didn't see it. Hanson and Raymond Rowe challenged for the WWE Tag Team titles, and they were on their way to victory, if not for the disqualification from the Young Bucks. A chair shot driven, which would call for the bell and allow the Bucks to walk out of Backlash, still the tag team champions. War Machine are not the happiest about that and do not believe that it was fair. The Young Bucks were able to cheat their way out of it, and they've almost been given a bit of a reward in some ways here tonight, and a little bit of tasking for revenge as well, as Hanson will get to exert his anger out on Nick Jackson in this one. And I've got to say, this is a bit unfair, because I mean, you look at Hanson, you see him there. Well, we'll say 300 pounds probably, maybe 280. We'll go about that just to be a little bit more fair. He is going to absolutely destroy Nick Jackson here. Poor Nick Jackson is a cruiserweight after all, and he has spent his career teaming with his brother Matt. He is not a well-versed singles wrestler, and he's kind of just going to be, I think, thrown around here, lumped around, and I don't think we should take this win or loss fairly. You know, I think we should take it with not a pinch of salt, but rather a handful of salt in the grand scheme of things. But it is kind of fair in its own right after what they did at Backlash, the disqualification loss. You know, I guess they've got to be, you know, taught a lesson. But is having a man absolutely decimated by a behemoth like Hanson really the way to prove that? I guess we're about to find out. Bell rings and we're underway, and there you go. Nick Jackson already getting absolutely run down there by Hanson as we get this one started. I mean, it doesn't help that the anger is well writhing throughout War Machine to already start things off. But yeah, it is not going to be a fun night here at all for Nick Jackson. Look at the strength that Hanson's demonstrating already. Now just having a little bit of fun, to be fair, with Nick Jackson. Up and down with the suplex there. You can see the way he hangs onto his back, just how much that one had to hurt. Oh, God. Oh, leaping elbow drop. With every move that is nailed onto Nick Jackson here, you got to think the thought of regret is running through his mind. But if it was not for what he did, would they still be the tag team champions? Oh my God, just everything Hanson does. It's like Killian Dane insanity. A huge, powerful man like he is, who's able to move with such quickness and precision and agility that you wouldn't expect, like we saw from that drop kick there. And the crowd in Columbus loving this one, as Nick Jackson is struggling. His expression there told the whole story, really. Big back elbow there. Raymond Rowe is also cheering this one on as well. And you can imagine it is only going to get worse for Nick Jackson in that ring. Big time clothesline, and he can go outside with his brother Matt for a moment. Maybe talk some tactics through with him. Help him get back in this one. Maybe need some smelling salts as well to be brought back to planet Earth after how hard he's been lumped around here by Hanson, and it's only getting tougher. The reparations for Backlash are being demonstrated to them right now. The Bucks, well aware that they can't do this more than once, They got another date with War Machine on its way. And Nick Jackson may well be lucky to get there, because here comes Hanson now, and here comes a powerbomb for you. Way up in the air and down with a sit-out powerbomb. 1, 2. Oh my, what? Nick Jackson kicks out of 2 there. And I do not think that was a wise decision at all, as Hanson will teach him here. Stretching his back out big time with that Dragon Sleeper. Kind of like the one Aleister Black does on ECW. But Nick Jackson still fighting in it here. And, well, that just brought himself absolutely no extra time in this matchup, but definitely a lot more of a beatdown. Off. Caught with a hard headbutt there into the gut. This one is, why didn't you just stay down for the 3 count, Nick? You would have been doing yourself and everyone else a favor. Here comes another suplex for his troubles, as this one is just becoming more and more a beatdown with every second that passes. Nick Jackson trying to use his speed to his advantage here to get out of the way there with that elbow drop. Will it create an opening for him in any ways? Reverse DDT, and all of a sudden Nick Jackson trying to get him up to his feet here. Is he sensing something on its way? Well, he got a shoulder tackle, and that was about it for his troubles. And now he'll have a belly to belly instead. Crawling now is Nick Jackson, but crawling right towards Hanson is what he was doing there. Look at the strength of this man. Reverse suplex. Once again, just lugging him around like the lightweight that he is in comparison to Hanson. Black hole slam there. And, well, hopefully, Nick, if you want to be smart, if you want to do what's right for you, for those tag team titles, and for everyone else, you'll stay down this time round. Kick in the gut. Here comes the power bomb. Dead center middle of the ring. Nowhere to go. Up in the air for a bit more damage. Into the cover. 1, 2. Oh, why do you insist on kicking out? I am not too sure what he is thinking when he does this time and time again, but certainly he is making him pay for it here. Oh my god, a standing Dragon Sleeper. Is there any way that Nick Jackson can survive this? He's fighting his way out of it. Punches there to the side of Hanson's head. We'll let him out of that one. And Nick Jackson trying to create once again another opening for him. Spinning heel kicking. Hanson very comfortably gets out of the way of that one. But once again, Nick Jackson countering. I just don't get what his mindset is. Why is he so insistent on trying to keep fighting here? You could say honor, you could say integrity, but when does it just become stupidity? He should have stayed down after that first one, because everything else he's going through right now is just making it worse and worse for him. Another Dragon Sleeper locked in here by Hanson, and another escape by Nick Jackson. I'm not even going to commend him, because I think he's just being stupid. Hanson, though, drops down to one knee. Has he exerted too much energy in trying to finish him off here? I don't know, but here comes that spinning slam again. Let's be it, please. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, he was staring into the eyes of Matt Jackson there just to convey some extra fear across. But still, Nick Jackson just a bit too stubborn. And as much as I respect the Elite, it has to be said that he is being very stubborn right now. This could be something that at a future date could come back to bite them in the arse. Oh my god, Hanson up on the top rope, but oh, Nick Jackson. Well, desperate times call for desperate measures, and he certainly took one there, but it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. Counter here, counter back by Hanson. And here comes the strength of him, maybe. Wait, here it comes. Oh, brought him down there. Almost like a world's strongest slam. And if Hanson was doing it, you wouldn't want to argue against him about the legitimacy of it being a world's strongest slam. This has got to be it. Please, stay down, Nick. Do it for the Elite. Do it for your health. The third powerbomb nails. and looking into the eyes of Matt Jackson as it's counted. And this one is thankfully put to rest. Hanson wins this one, and a measure of revenge is enacted. The more that he kicked out, the more Hanson enjoyed pummeling into his opponent. Well, there we go. If it was a one-on-one environment, the Elite will get absolutely destroyed. But in the eventual tag team rematch, I think is the best way of putting it, whenever that comes around, I think it is going to be a close affair. Especially if anything's added, like the Young Bucks get disqualified, lose the belts, or even no DQ. If it's no DQ, I wouldn't like to imagine Young Bucks' chance would be that high, as we've just seen from the destruction of War Machine there. Well, there we go. Victory for Hanson there, though. It might not mean that much, given the fact that it was a one-on-one match, but we'll see a return date between these two teams down the line. But right now, we're going to move on to our main event, and what a main event it is, let's be honest. Coming up next, it is going to be Kenny Omega against Finn Balor. Well, we have been waiting to see him come back, and here he is. Finn Balor is here tonight on Smackdown Live for the first time in a very long time. Finn Balor is here, and man alive, has he got a big match for him in his first match back. A non-title confrontation with the Intercontinental Champion Kenny Omega, but it is not about all that for Finn Balor. Just being here in the ring, just being back after everything that happened has got to just mean the world to him. It has been a long road to recovery laid out by Kevin Owens. Well, now that road is over, and Finn Balor can go down a new path on his quest to whatever he hopes to achieve on the way going forward. As Finn Balor heads towards the ring here, no, now's not the time! Now is not the time, Kevin Owens! Owens is here, and is wasting little time in picking up where he left off with Finn Balor. This man's only just come back from an injury that he put him out on the shelf with. I didn't think Owens was here tonight after his win over Nakamura, but it seems not. It seems ever the opportunist, ever the desperate man that he is, Kevin Owens is going right after Balor. And as if everything Kevin Owens has done isn't enough just yet, as if spoiling Finn Balor's debut isn't enough. Oh my god, he is not gonna, oh my god, oh, on the stage there. And that's just mesh, basically. That's just steel being driven down for Finn Balor to endure. Kevin Owens is stopping at nothing here to make sure that everyone recognizes who he is and what he's here for. And what it, no, KO, there's no need for this. Owens, package pile driver to Balor. Come on, man. That is taking things too far. Kevin Owens has laid out Finn Balor and seems damn proud of it.